You may be aware that the federal government has started offering people the option of resigning their positions. And you might be surprised to hear me say that I recommend that you say no. This may be the only time that I say that if your employer offers you a severance that you should reject it. But in this particular case, I recommend that you say no. Let me explain really quickly why. If you have read Project 2025, you might already understand why I'm saying that you shouldn't do it. If you have read Project 2025, you will understand that one of the things they plan to do is to push federal workers out so that they can put their own cronies into those positions. I do not think that Americans working for the federal government should make this easy for them to do. Them being those who are actually running our government now, which is not necessarily the president, but instead Heritage Foundation and those who paid to help him get back into office. The Heritage Foundation, I believe, is the author of most of the executive orders that you all have been seeing coming down since January 20th. Because, I mean, y'all don't think he sat down and wrote those things either. So I think it's important to realize what the intention is and why they're trying to get all these people out of the federal government. And so I think, you know, if you're not in favor of what is happening and you don't want to see it go even further than where it's going and faster than what it's already going, because right now they're actually doing things behind the scenes that you don't know about and you're not aware of them because you're all reacting to these shenanigans that they put out every day. Okay. But the real damage has not yet begun. But if they get control of all those federal spots, and I'm not talking about appointees, these are career positions that they want to fill with their cronies. I don't think that those who might still hold out some hope for retaining whatever little bit of democracy might be left, which isn't much, want a government filled with cronies of the president. That's not the way the government is supposed to work, right? He literally just fired, this is unprecedented, fired attorneys who worked on his prosecution by Jack Smith, people who were just doing their jobs and were working as lawyers in the Justice Department. They fired those people, right? Now, I don't think Jack Smith should have been fired either, but Jack Smith resigned knowing that he was going to be fired, right? But to come after career staff and fire them because they worked on a prosecution against you is a sign of what kind of person this person is and what you're in for the next 4 years or more if there are no controls put in place, right? And one of those controls is staying in your federal job. So I would say, don't quit your job. If they want to fire people, that will end up being litigated all the way up to the Supreme Court. And that will take longer for them to be able to do. So don't make it easy for them. Don't resign your position. If they want those jobs empty, make it hard for them. Don't make it easy for them. So that's that. I really urge people to read Project 2025. If you want to understand what is happening right now and what their intentions are, you've got to read it. You've got to also understand that a lot of things that they're doing to throw people off, keep people in chaos. I always say with this person, when they tell you to look over there, it's because something else is going on over here that they don't want you to be aware of, right? And unlike the first go around, they have a better idea of how the government works, and they came in with a plan and they're executing it from day one as they said they would. So if you don't understand what's going on, all you really have to do is go back and look at all the speeches and things that he made while he was running for president. Go back and look at the things that the head of the Heritage Foundation has been saying before he was elected president. And then it'll be very clear what their intentions are, right? And so, you know, people should be concerned, but I don't think you need to react to every single thing. And so to the person who asked me, am I going to do a video about this? I'm doing a video about this because I think it's important enough, but it's a quick video. But am I going to do a video and react to every single thing that this administration does? No, I am not. I am not. I will talk about things that I think are important, especially things that I think are going to impact the larger, wider employees. Like, for example, I think I may have already posted. If I didn't, it'll probably show up tomorrow. He just fired the chair, I believe, and the general counsel of the National Labor Relations Board. I think that's something that matters, right? Am I going to make a whole video about it? No. But I did put a post in my community about it because I think it's important and people need to pay attention to that. He also just fired the 2 commissioners from the EEOC. I think that's important. And the reason I think it's important is because it's very clear that he's doing these firings. He knows that he's not allowed to do them. He wants to challenge, he wants them to go through the court system, right? When people do things that they know they're not supposed to do, they're not allowed to do, and they have him do it anyway, because again, remember, he's not just doing these things. He's being told what to do and he's doing it, right? Because they want to go through the court system. They want to see how many of these things they can get the court to say it's okay for them to do, so they can go full hog, right? So they're firing people on commissions that were set up by the Congress, that the Congress set up to be independent. He went ahead and fired these people anyway, right? And they're doing these things also because, you know, the oligarchs who paid for his seat don't like the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, because that is the body that protects union workers' rights. They don't like that. They've been trying to get this thing abolished, and it's in Project 2025, okay? So they want to be able to challenge the existence of that board, and that's what they're going to use this process to do, okay? So pay attention to that. Also pay attention to the appropriations process. Pay attention to if there are any federal agencies that don't get funded, pay attention to that. Pay attention to who's on the appropriations committees for the House and the Senate, and what's in the budgets that get submitted by the White House, as well as what's in the budgets that actually come out of appropriations. So these are things that, you know, as citizens, especially as Black folk, we need to pay attention to. You've got to really decide now what's important and what's not important, and what you're going to pay attention to and what you're not going to pay attention to, and what fights you're going to get into and what fights you're not going to get into. Some things you got to pay attention to. Again, him challenging birthright citizenship and challenging the 14th Amendment is very important, and everybody needs to pay attention to that. Black people need to pay attention to that. Black Americans did not become citizens until the 14th Amendment was passed, that said that if you were born in the U.S., then you were a citizen. Why? Because slaves were not considered citizens. These things matter. If you've ever heard of Plessy versus Ferguson, go read it, okay? Go read, what's the other called? Dred Scott. And the 14th Amendment is in response to the Dred Scott case. Go read Dred Scott. If you've never read it, go read it. These are things we have got to now do as a community. We have got to read, people. And we have got to know our history, right? The 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. Read them. I am linking the Constitution to the description of this video. I am linking the Project 2025 document to the description of this video. I would encourage you to read it, because if you want to understand what is coming and what these people are trying to do to this country, you need to know what is their manifesto. It's all in there. Read it. It ain't fun. Get you a bottle of wine. You notice I didn't say a glass. Get yourself a good bottle of wine and sit down and read Project 2025 if you haven't already. I ain't trying to read it again, but y'all need to go read it and read the Constitution. Okay, especially as Black people, we need to read the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, at least. Read it all. Your first part is the Bill of Rights, and then you need to read the amendments that came after that. Okay, 13th and 14th, read it. Don't come in my comments to ask me my shirt. I'm wearing this shirt because I feel like wearing it. It's my Colin Kaepernick. His number is on the back. I'm not a 49ers fan, but I am a fan of Colin Kaepernick. Okay, so that's why I have this shirt on, because I felt like wearing it today. So I don't want to have a whole bunch of comments in my comment section about why am I wearing a 49ers shirt. I don't even watch the National Football League. Have not watched an NFL game since they did what they did to Colin Kaepernick. Okay, unlike a whole bunch of y'all who are still watching it but talking about you going to boycott Target and boycott Amazon, you can't even boycott the NFL. I don't watch the NFL. I haven't watched it since they did what they did to him. Even when my beloved Usher, don't you say one bad word. Anybody say anything bad about Usher in the comments, I'm blocking you immediately. Let me just put that out there. I love me some Usher. And I still didn't even watch Usher's halftime show. I waited and watched it on YouTube because I refused to watch the Super Bowl. Any part of the Super Bowl. So if I ain't watch Usher, and anybody that knows me knows I love Usher. I flew from Mexico to Las Vegas to see Usher, and then I flew from Mexico to Baltimore to see Usher. Twice. I love Usher. I pray every day that he don't do nothing to make me have to not love him no more. But I love me some Usher, okay? And I don't care that he's married to that white woman. So don't come into my comments to talk to me about who he's married to. That's his business, okay? But I still did not watch his halftime show live because I did not want to give my eyeballs to the NFL, right? And some of y'all can't even manage to do that, but you want to come to Tabitha Brown. Come for Tabitha Brown because she's selling her stuff in Target. That's what's wrong with us as a group, literally, okay? That so many of us will talk the talk, but we're not strategic, right? And we won't even give up a football game, okay? But we want to talk about how she should pull all her stuff out of Target and come for her on TikTok and everywhere else, because some of us don't like Black people, even though we're Black, and we don't like each other and we don't like ourselves. And I said what I said, okay? But for those of us who actually do love Black folk, right, then we are willing to be strategic in our protests. I personally don't watch the NFL because of how I feel about how they blacklisted him and how they treated him just for kneeling. He didn't do anything wrong. For exercising and protesting in a very quiet, dignified manner. And it costed him his entire career. And he was willing to sacrifice his entire career for what he believed was right. And I have a lot of respect for him. So that's why I'm wearing this shirt. Not because I'm a San Francisco 49er fan or a fan of any football team, to be honest with you. Okay? So don't come for me in the comments about my 49er shirt. This is my Colin Kaepernick shirt. It's not my 49er shirt. Well, that's how I choose to think about it. Anywho, that is what I wanted to say in this video, was to talk really quickly about what is happening with the federal workers and the offer for them to resign, that I highly recommend that unless you intended to retire anyway and you'd already put your papers in, don't give your job up so that Donald Trump can pack the federal workforce with crazy MAGA people. I'm sure there are enough of them in there as it is, and now they're learning, because as I said, this is the find out phase of the movie. And many, many people are finding out. And I have to say, our find out moment is coming right around the corner. So we need to be getting ready for that, which is why we can't get involved in everybody else's stuff. But we do need to pay attention to it, because they always start, if you're a student of history, they always start with the group that they think nobody cares about. And by the time they get around to you, it's too late, because you weren't paying attention to what they were doing to all the other people. So we need to pay attention to what's happening, and when and if appropriate, raise our voices against it. But most importantly, prepare for what is coming for our community, because they got plans for everybody. Like I said, if you're not white, male, straight, and Christian evangelical, they are coming for you. Some way, some kind of way, right? So don't get comfortable and so full of righteous indignation that you don't realize that all of us have something at stake here. So if you are a federal worker, if you can take one for the team, take one for your country, take one for your community, don't quit your job. Stay in there. Don't make it easy for them to pack the government with a bunch more crazy people. Stay in there and make them do it the hard way. Make them do it the hard way. Don't make it easy for them. And that's the same principle in terms of how and why I do this work in the first place, is that I don't want us making it easy for these private sector employers, because, they get ready to follow and do their own extra crazy stuff, because some of the conversations I'm having with people in the last 2 weeks is just a lot, right? But they pay attention to what happens, and some of them think that this means is open season and they can do whatever they want, but that's not true. The other thing I really want you guys to read is the executive order. I've linked it to a couple, and I really want you all to read it, because I'm going to share some thoughts separately about the ways that I think we can push back on this narrative about merit, right? Which is at the cornerstone of the white supremacy argument, is that we're not against, we just think everything should be based on merit. So I want to have a conversation about merit, but that will be in a separate video, okay? But for the federal workers who may have received these letters offering them severances in exchange for their jobs, please don't resign your job. Don't take the offer. Batten down the hatches. Take one for the team. Stay in the government. just for now, right? Now, if you're already have put in your retirement or already planning to retire, I completely understand. Godspeed to you. You have earned it. I'm happy for you. But if you are younger, you know, if people want to talk about how you can, you know, what you can do to save democracy, here you go. Don't quit your job. Take one for the team. Try help to save your country and don't leave. Okay? So I hope this is helpful. Those are my thoughts on this. I will be back with another video. I actually was planning to only do 2 videos this week, but I have so many things in my brain. So I'll be making some other videos about some other things that I want to talk about and some other things that are coming up. I also want to remind you guys that you should subscribe to my website if you are not already, because I am already sharing some special subscriber only offers. Black History Month starts February 1. And as always, I will have special promotions and specials for my subscribers as well as all of my followers during that month. So if you were trying to access certain information like master courses, some of them are going to be on sale. I'm putting my webinar series that I just relaunched. That is going to be on sale during Black History Month. And I already am planning to offer some subscriber only discounts during Black History Month. So make sure that you're subscribed to the website so that you can take advantage of those. Okay? Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Please note that my schedule is going to be new videos on Mondays and Fridays instead of Wednesdays and Fridays. I'll probably still sometimes drop videos on Wednesdays, but mainly Mondays and Fridays because it's just easier for me to do it that way than what I initially thought. So top of the week, end of the week usually, and then in between I'll probably drop things in the community. If something comes up that I think you guys need to know about, I'll drop it in the community or I'll send you an email to my subscribers to talk about it, right? So make sure you're subscribed so that you can get those special messages as well, okay? Thanks for watching. See you guys soon. Bye.